Good morning. Na 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 na. Good morning. Na 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 na. Good morning. The rest of my life starts today. Hey, Inspired Tribe, how's it going? Welcome to the Live Inspired live stream here on the Inspired channel. What? We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, and we're free. It is Monday, November 16th, 2020. Please hit the like button as you tune in and whenever that is. Whenever it is, it's live for you. Hey, Melly. Hey, Anna. Hey, everyone. It's good to see you guys. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, and we're free. Please remember that. This is not just an empty phrase. This is really important. Hey, Emma. We're going to jump onto a really cool some a little bit, but it is important. So we're going to talk about it, and it's going to be good. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be transformational. We're going to come out empowered, which is always the idea, to come out empowered of it. Hey, Angie. Hey, Road. Everyone, of course, we're going to do a little bit of breath work today. We're going to switch to something that's done in well. And I was just reminded of it a couple of days ago. So let's do this again. As everyone jumps in and as we're getting ready to do this today, let's remind ourselves of something. And this is so important. Listen to it. It has never been more important than in this period in our lives, because everything is so out of the ordinary on the outside, because everything is so changing so fast, and the pace is so fast. We need to remind ourselves that we are not this body. We're not even the mind. You remember this, right? I'm not the body. I am not even the mind. But if I'm not the body and not the mind, what am I? I am. And this I amness is eternal. It is literally something that, goes forever, has been forever, will be forever, and is everywhere. That's the I amness that we all are. And we want to remind ourselves of that divinity within us. And if we say, my wife's mocking me. Hold on. We're just playing out some inside jokes here. You can only see half of it, of what's going on. This might be even more interesting. You know, what is she wearing? Is she wearing anything? We don't know. Will we know? Is it a bathrobe? Who knows? Well, let's go into our breath work. Let's do this. And I will show you something today. The more we speak about divinity, the more we speak about empowerment, the more we speak about who you really are, the more this is moving away from the intention of the creators of all of these platforms. As our power goes up, the numbers go down, and that's just what it is. And it's funny to observe. So what we're going to do now is breathe with me. Let go of your screens, let go of your phones, close your eyes. Really do close your eyes. Commit to a few minutes of breathing together. We're going to do it really simple. As we breathe in, repeat after me, I am not the body. As you breathe out, I'm not even the mind. Let's take deep breaths and focus on opening up the solar plexus, center of the chest, the spiritual heart. Let's go. Let's do this. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. One more. I am not the body. I am not seconds. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'm so peaceful, I don't even want to speak right now. We could just be quiet together. So, come back in your own time. Open your eyes in your own time. Mute it if you feel like it, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here with us. Margaret, Siobhan, Brenda, Emma, Rohit, Angie, Melly, everyone who's here, and the ones, Anna, and the ones who are not, chatting in. That's excited to be here. And today's topic is always something that Kristin and I experienced in our own lives. We talk about it, and it becomes obvious that this is something that needs to be resolved. And we use the beautiful, inspired live streams to do it. So I want to start by something that is now, I wasn't aware of it. It doesn't matter. I was surprised to see it written by, I forget the name, Harvard professor. And on Twitter, I saw his tweet, and it had a bunch of expressions that he deemed to now be racist. And none of those were the ones that you would usually expect. You know, they're not pointed at a specific ethnic or group or race. These are now expressions that we use in everyday life. And one of those was personal responsibility. So if you say that there's something like personal responsibility in the eyes of that professor, this is now a racist term. Now, let's be completely honest. If you're here, if you've been with us, if you have been paying attention to anything that we say and stand for, or if you have been in one of our courses, that's the first thing we'll tell you, is that whatever you do, however you feel, whatever your experience is your responsibility, your personal responsibility. There's no one that can do that to you, what you're experiencing. So it's safe to say that this is part of a culture that we do not subscribe to, but it really ties into our topic of the day. And part of it is this idea of the cancel culture and what it really includes. When we say cancel culture, it's this idea that there is a portion of society, and usually it's a fairly small portion, that for whatever reason deems something to be not acceptable. Usually it's thoughts and ideas, and then it says everyone who subscribes to these thoughts and ideas, everyone who thinks these thoughts expresses needs to be punished, needs to be shunned, or all of those things. And of course, this is the greatest contradiction that one could have. If you are for acceptance, if you are to respect all of your fellow beings, if you believe in freedom, then this has no place in a free society to cancel others for their views. But let's take this to the step that we wanted to take it today. And this particular topic was triggered by a few comments that we've received. And we have to say the overwhelming majority of comments that we receive on social media, on YouTube, is really, really wonderful, beautiful, positive expressions of gratitude, how people feel, watch videos, live stream, all of those things. Super, super amazing. And every now and then, and we observe this more than we experience it ourselves, but we have experienced it ourselves. There will be people that will leave a comment like, it really, it is really sad or troubling to me that you put music to an Abraham segment. I wish you wouldn't do that because then I could enjoy it more. And I wish you would stop doing that. It's a real shame that you do that. Or I wish Abraham would speak slower. It would change their way of talking so it would suit my needs better. And I'm paraphrasing here. Those are just some of the comments. And basically, the idea behind those comments is very simple. The idea is that for whatever reason, I'm experiencing discomfort or I'm experiencing something that I don't like. And my first idea is to go to the person and tell them how they should change so I could feel better, which is ironic when you're listening to an Abraham video. Very ironic, but it's happening nonetheless. And what is the idea behind it? It's, again, in projecting responsibility onto others, onto society, onto groups, onto politicians, giving the responsibility for my own well-being to others. This is literally not the one of the. This is the centerpiece of every coaching, the centerpiece of every course. And that's the whole idea. The whole idea is that there is no one outside of you that is responsible for your well-being. There simply isn't. There's no one. I'm not talking about a baby. I'm talking about adult, grown-up beings that are capable physically, spiritually, mentally, to take care of themselves. So you have the sole responsibility for your well-being. If for some reason you feel differently, it is because you made a choice. At some point in your life, you made a choice and said, I will put conditions on my well-being, and I will tie those conditions to other people. So if these people then behave and act in a way that I approve of, I can feel fine. If they don't, I won't feel fine because my well-being is now tied to the actions of other people. And we have a reverse freedom psychology here. And this reverse freedom psychology doesn't say, I am free to experience, I'm free to express, I'm free to feel, free to think whatever I desire to do, which that is real freedom. The reverse freedom idea is that I can only be free when you act the way I think you should act, right? And this is becoming, in our culture and society, it's becoming a very, very valid idea. It's becoming a very validated idea, and it creates so much sadness and depression, and it creates a lot of unfulfilled expectations because it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way in a small sense, in terms of even if you live in the most harmonious relationship that you could live in. I can tell you from personal experience, as soon as you start having expectation towards the other person, you are going to be disappointed. It is just that way because it isn't how it is supposed to be. You should never be tied to the behavior of another person, or your well-being should never be tied to that. And so look at your own life and look at how many times you are triggered by something, how many times you are offended by something, or how many times something pisses you off and you think, if that person only did not do that or did not say that, then I could feel better. But isn't it the ultimate freedom that the person can and will say it and has the right to say it and the right to do it, as much as it is your ultimate freedom to not go along with it, to not pay attention to it, to not believe it, to not act on it, to not react to it? And that is really the freedom that we're talking about here. And this is really the expression, freedom from within to the without. What does that even mean? How do we define freedom outside of our own experience, because in our own experience, it's a purely vibrational thing. We are vibrational beings. So when we vibrate at the rate of freedom, we experience this more or less all the time in our personal experience. Not because everything goes according to our will, but because we understand that we have chosen a path, and we have chosen it out of freedom. We've chosen it from a place of freedom. That's the real freedom. Freedom doesn't mean that everything always happens the way you plan it. You put it on a paper and it just happens that way. But it means that you have the possibility at any given time to choose something different, and to understand that contrast is not your enemy. And contrast is not there to understand what you want others to change. Contrast is only there so you can understand what suits you and what doesn't, what feels good and what doesn't, what you do desire and what you don't desire. That's what contrast is there for. If contrast becomes the enemy, expansion is the enemy. So contrast in itself is a very, very positive thing if we can understand it in the right way. It is then not there to be wrong or something. It's then there to make us see what we really do desire and what we don't desire, and then move into that vibration more. And it is something that you can practice really, really well within your family, within your community, to let go of the expectations of what others need to think, what they need to say, how they need to act. The more you apply experience, the less you actually hear and understand and perceive. Because a lot of times when you are filterless in terms of just accepting that there's a completely different perspective out there, there might be something in it for you too. It might be just 1% of what that person says, but it might be there. And we also need to understand that all major shifts and expansions in our society and in our own thinking, in our even biology, in our physiology, in our environment, only came about because we fundamentally changed a perspective and a view. Otherwise, we could not evolve. Otherwise, we could not return to a more expansive experience that we were intended to be. So in other words, if we did not have those contrast experiences, if there weren't people who would so fundamentally challenge a belief, a science about something, a belief about something, the same story about something, if there weren't people who wouldn't trigger large portions of society with a completely different view, we would never expand. We would never get to the idea that maybe the Earth isn't the center of the universe, and maybe the sun really doesn't revolve around the Earth. Maybe there's so many ideas that we are only understanding because there were people who were brave enough to have those opinions that triggered others. There is so much more to this idea than simply me saying, I have a belief, you have a belief, they're different, therefore you should change or I can never feel good again. And where do we see this every day? I'll tell you an example. There are so many people that feel that it is not just their right, but their duty to criticize others in their own actions. They will walk into a store and they will tell the store owner, I really like your store, but I would like it so much more if you did this and that. And if you change this around and put that shelf here, and if you would carry different product, and if you would fire that employee, it would really be an amazing store. And it is a conditional experience. This doesn't mean that we go through life going along with everything that other people say. It is more about understanding that our own well-being should never be dependent on other people's actions. That once we take back that power, we have power over our well-being, and we understand that we can feel good now despite what is going on. We can feel good now even if that person thinks bad things about us, even if someone judges us, even if someone misspeaks, even if someone lies. Despite all of those things, we can feel good now because this is who we really are as creators. And if we aren't that, then we are very powerless, very small, very narrow beings, and we just don't believe that we are that. As a matter of fact, everything we built this platform on, everything we built our courses on, everything Kristin has built over many years her coachings on, is the idea that you are not a victim to any circumstance that you cannot overcome, change by changing yourself, not by changing the other person. And trust me, 99% of all people, as when they first come into a coaching, when they first come to the idea of they need help, they want someone else in their life to change, and they want help in how to manipulate the other person into change. And the first thing that they're being told is that there's no such thing. It just doesn't work that way. If there's something that you're uncomfortable with, if there's something that you do not like in your life, if there is something that you want to change, you are the change. You are the one who changes it. And there's this beautiful thing where you know, there is a problem that's being defined, right? In our society, we do that. We really define a problem, and then we say someone should really do something about it. And guess what? You're someone, me, someone, right? If we define a problem in our experience as something that isn't really a problem, it's really contrast, it's really just understanding, hell no, I don't like that. This is not something I want in my experience. We don't go and try to change the whole world around this. We change ourselves. We change ourselves. And the magical thing is, we change ourselves because we see something that we don't desire. So we adjust ourselves. We adjust ourselves into new ways of well-being. And others are inspired by that. Others are inspired by that delightful experience that they're having when they see us, when they talk to us. Then they want to do it too. Then more people want to do it too. More people are inspired. And as a result of that, the world and that which we have seen, which we don't desire, changes around us. It literally changes, but it doesn't change by fighting what we don't want. It changes by realizing what we do desire, by realizing what is in our hearts, and by putting our energy there. So contrast is not the enemy. Contrast is the friend. As long as we don't linger there, as long as we don't keep looking at the problem, as long as we don't keep wanting to change it rather than change ourselves, and then it will naturally, eventually follow suit and change too. It's just the way it is. It's the way it's always been in our human society. And it can't be any other way, because if you look at it from the realist standpoint, which is vibration, you cannot fake your way. We cannot fake the world into a way of feeling and thinking differently. We have to do it on a vibrational level, and that's always individual. But the beautiful thing is, once you become the real controller of your vibration, once you're really in charge, once you really understand how to raise your vibration when you desire to do it, you will become so knowledgeable and wise and experienced at it that you will understand how to raise the vibration of a room. You will understand how to raise the vibration of a whole group. And you will understand how, in beautiful and loving ways, you can offer something that is so strong, something that is so magnetic, that others naturally gravitate towards it. This is the beautiful thing. When you become the liver of a high vibration over a longer period of time, you are so used to it. You're so used to play with it that you can be so playful with it that you can inspire others to the point where they can't help but want to be at that same level or even higher. That's really powerful. That's really Christ-like. That's really what Jesus did. That's, coming into a place where there's suffering, where there's pain, coming into a place where there is, where there's blindness, where there's hate, and bringing so much light to that place that others can't help but rise to that vibration. That is the kind of change and influence that you have, not the beating up of others so they beating them into submission so they do what you want so you can feel better about yourself. This is the lowest point of manipulation, of manipulating reality, where we beat it into others physically or verbally, and tell them, if you do this, things will get better for me. And this is just not true. We can experience this right now on this planet. It's the best, beautiful way to see it right now. What's happening is there's such a strong push from people that believe they have power over others to tell them how to behave, what to do, when to do it, where to do it, where not to do it. And this is not an exaggeration. If I had told you this a year ago, you would say, well, that's an exaggeration. No, it's literally, right? People that believe they have power over the others say, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this now, you can only do this at certain times, and you have to wear this, and you have to behave like this. And the truth is, none of it is working. None of it creates something better. None of it creates more health. None of it creates more well-being. None of it creates more freedom. It does the exact opposite, because it doesn't work that way. Because freedom is the only basis for change. It's the only basis for change. Now, we believe in larger sections of society that, you change society with laws, and you change the societies with force, and you change them by mandating and dictating, and none of this ever works. It's, some people later on, looking back in history, they pull together two facts and they say, see, this is causally connected. Because we said this happened. It's just not true. Change only happens when the vibration changes, when the understanding changes, when consciousness change on the outside happens. There's no other way of doing things, no matter how often you're being told something different. It just doesn't work that way. That's why if someone really desires to be a positive influencer on this planet and in this human experience, they become the best of themselves first and foremost, right? They become the best version of themselves first and foremost. Because when you are that, you get a really good intuition. You get a really good feel for authenticity and non-authenticity. And then it is easy, because once something is exposed, once everything's out on a platter and everyone can see it, when you are at your best, it's so easy to pick that which is authentic and that which isn't. But you can only do that when you're on the top of your game. When you're not, you can so easily be influenced and deceived. So this really comes back to the first thing that we said, that now apparently in certain circles is a racist thing to say. Yes, we have 100% personal responsibility. The culture or whatever you want, where people define things, others to submit to those ideas, we don't subscribe. We don't pay much attention to it. It doesn't really have any role in our lives. We see it sometimes, we hear it sometimes. It's amusing at best, and it's disturbing at the worst, but it is what it is. What is it? But honestly, we do not care. We do not care, whatever, right? It's about personal responsibility. It's about you taking charge, you understanding, no matter where you stand right now, no matter what's happening around you, no matter where you are in the world right now, your well-being is in your hands right now. And I think we should do something that inspires us. We should do something right now, today, that inspires ourselves. This is maybe this is such a corny concept, but what if you would make your days about being inspired and seeking that state more than anything else, more than satisfying your taste buds, more than satisfying your need for distraction, more than satisfying your need for sensation? What if you would make inspiration the most important part of your day? What could you do? What could you do? So what we do is, we get really inspired by expanding and creating ideas that inspire others. That's what we love to do, because when something inspires us, we bring it into a form so we can transport it as best we can. That's literally the thing that keeps us, at a very high level every day, and it just feels really good. So we'd love to invite you. We're going to do another Inspired One Life course, started very soon, spontaneously. So if you feel inspired to join us for the Inspired One, it's the Empower Yourself course. It's the beginning. It's like the springboard. And the thing is, it's a springboard, but how high you jump, it's up to you. It's, how much you lean into that springboard. And this is a literal analogy. If you ever been on a springboard and you wanted to jump really high before you make that dive into the pool, when you really lean into it, you bounce back so high, and then there are no limits to how high you can jump. So we can't make the jump for you, but we provide the springboard, and that's the Inspired One course. So let us know, 365 inspiredliving@gmail.com. If you're ready. We're going to start very, very soon. We'll give you all the info when we get you. It's a really cool 4-week journey, very, very powerful. A really cool thing to do right before the holiday season, actually, Christmas season. So everyone, if the course doesn't feel like something you want to do right now, but you do want to, jump, then join us for the Inspired membership calls every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard. Very cool Zoom live calls, and always expansive and unexpected. We plan it, and then we leave some room for the unexpected, which usually turns out amazing, and it's an expansive journey. Join the group. It's really powerful. It's a monthly membership, $69 a month. We kept really affordable, wanted it to. And, you get the 4 calls and the access to the library and all that good stuff. So here's an open invitation. And walk with that idea for a little bit. Walk with the idea that what you have been waiting for is already here. We're all waiting for that event in life. We've been taught to wait. Okay, I'm going to do this once this happens. And when I have the capital, I'm going to do this. And when I have this, I will do that. But understand that the more conditions you put on your experience of well-being, the less well-being you will experience in your life. Because those conditions, I'm waiting for the world to change. I'm waiting for the laws to change. I'm waiting for the neighbor to change. I'm waiting for my boss to change. I'm waiting for my husband, my wife, my son, my daughter, my mother, my mother-in-law to change. What does that do? It keeps you in a passive position. And what is life? Life is an active experience. Inspiration is active. Love is active. Joy is active. Freedom is active. Those are all active experiences, active decisions. You and you alone have the power to do that. So what's it going to be? Are you going to bitch around about other people and what they say and what they do and what they don't do? Or are you going to, make a decision for yourself today to live an inspired life of well-being, of joy, of freedom, of expansion, of how good can it get? I don't know how good your life can get. I only know that if you make the decision to find out, you'll be on that path, and that path will feel better and better and better and better and better every day. That's it, Inspired Tribe. That's how it works. No cancel culture, no racism, no any ism. Just life, just inspiration, just freedom. So if you feel inspired, send us an email, join the Inspired One course. This will be an epic journey. That we can promise you. All right, tribe, this was it from us for today. We'll be here again on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard, right here on the Inspire channel. Be healthy, wealthy, whole, and free. Remember, that's who we are. That's what we are. And, do all the good stuff. Do all the good stuff. That's it. We'll see you then, and have a wonderful and inspired rest of your day.